Everyone warned me against hiring the angry ex-convict. Now he's the reason my daughter is alive. The first time I met Marcus, he was glaring at me from across my bakery counter, 6'3", covered in tattoos with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. He handed me a crumpled paper part, a job referral from the re-entry program. I don't need charity, he said before I could speak, but I need work and I can start now. My staff exchanged nervous glances. We needed help. I'd been working 70-hour weeks since my husband left. But an ex-convict with obvious anger issues wasn't exactly what I had in mind. Something made me ask, any baking experience? 8 years making bread at Eastern State, he replied flatly. 4 hours daily, no days off. I hired him that afternoon, despite everyone's warnings. My sister called me reckless parent. You are a single mom with a 4-year-old daughter, Claire. My landlord offered to change the locks. Even my regular customers whispered concerns. For the first month, Marcus barely spoke. He arrived at 4 a.m. sharp, worked tirelessly, and left without small talk. His sourdough was flawless. When equipment broke, he fixed it without being asked. When deliveries arrived, he unloaded everything himself. Then one morning, I found him teaching my daughter Lily how to fold dough while she giggled uncontrollably. She was awake when I arrived, he explained quickly, said she was hungry. I noticed he'd made her tiny animal-shaped rolls, a turtle, a bunny, a little elephant. My daughter used to like these, he said, eyes down, before I learned pieces of his story over the following months. 12 years for armed robbery. A daughter he hadn't seen since she was 2, anger management classes that didn't fix what was broken inside. When I had emergency gallbladder surgery, Marcus reorganized the entire schedule, ran the shop, and dropped off soup at my house daily, leaving it on the porch without knocking. Not looking for thanks, he said when I tried to express gratitude, just doing what needs doing. My favorite regular customer, an elderly woman named Dorothy, once asked him why he never smiled. Instead of being offended, he considered the question seriously, forgot how he finally said for working on it. Though the next week he brought Dorothy a cinnamon roll with a smiley face carved into the top. Not exactly a smile himself, but progress. Then came the night that changed everything. I was working late with Lily napping in my office when our strip mall's electrical panel caught fire. The first warning was the smell of smoke, then darkness as the power failed. I ran to my office but couldn't see through the thick smoke. I was screaming Lily's name when Marcus appeared beside me, seemingly out of nowhere. Get out, he ordered, pushing me toward the door. Now I'll get her. His voice left no room for argument. Outside, as fire trucks arrived, I was hysterical. The bakery's back section was fully engulfed. Then through the smoke came Marcus carrying Lily, wrapped in his jacket, his own shirt held over her face as a filter. His back and arms were covered in burns. At the hospital, the doctor said Lily had no smoke damage to her lungs because of Marcus's quick thinking. Marcus himself refused pain medication for his secondary burns, sitting stoically as they cleaned his wounds. When I asked why he'd risked his life, he looked confused by the question. She's just a kid, he said. Got a whole life ahead. The next day, my landlord started a GoFundMe for Marcus's medical bills. My sister brought him home-cooked meals. Dorothy organized a group of regulars to help rebuild the damaged bakery. 3 weeks later, when we reopened, Marcus arrived with something I'd never seen before, paperwork. Parole officer says I can petition for supervised visits with my daughter, he said, his voice unsteady. Would need a character reference. I looked at this man, parrot, still intimidating, still scarred, still struggling to smile, parent, and realized how wrong everyone had been about him. How wrong I had been. I'll need more paper, I said. 1 page isn't enough to explain how you saved my daughter's life. How you save all of us really every day in smaller ways. For the first time I saw him smile. Pertol really smile, Pertol, as he handed my daughter another tiny bread elephant. Sometimes the people we're most afraid of are the ones with the most to give. They're just waiting for someone to see past what everyone else couldn't.